Hey internets, this is Rev. On this episode, we talk about a sperm with an eyeball, another fucking phantasmic game, another indie game convention, and god damn it, Double Fine! Well, okay. Grab your batons and rubber bullets. This episode makes us old enough to legally drink. It's episode 21 of the Indie Game Riot.
Indie Game Riot! Hey everybody, it's JaShinYa, and this is episode 21 of the Indie Game Riot. Yes, legally able to drink, even though half the time Rev is already intoxicated. But don't tell anyone.
Don't tell my
Police,
mommy.
we're gonna get what's that word called? Swatted?
Oh, no, don't joke about that.
It is a little ridiculous. But anyway. Yeah, so episode 21, man, this is exciting. We got the IndieGoGo thing going on, and we're actually heading to IndieCade, which we'll talk about later, and things like that.
A couple of conventions on the horizon. And
yeah, buddy. What's been going on with you, Rev?
Oh, work and more work. It's actually been a lot of fun. I've compiled a quote for like some $350,000 worth of networking infrastructure for one of our clients, and despite the fact that mileage reimbursement is extremely low, I've put enough miles on in the last week, because I've only started visiting client sites this week, but I've put on enough miles that I'm getting a mileage check for just under $100.
What in California? Like, I'm not familiar with California. I know Maryland is like 65 cents per mile.
It's like 40.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like 35 or 45. Some companies can go above. And I don't know as these guys do. I just know that given the amount that I have driven, I'm getting a check for about $100.
So wait, you get reimbursed per mile, but not for gas.
You get reimbursed X amount of cents per mile that you drive,
which means it makes sense for Rev to save up and buy a Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
and then your electric bill skyrockets.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll plug in at a neighbor's house.
That's nice here. I live near Hershey, and Hershey Park has in their free parking area, they have chargeable, they have these charging things for cars like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Move over here. We just got solar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You guys get snow.
Look at you.
There's the solar panels, and
actually, snow improves solar because it reflects the sun right back. So not only are you getting the sun rays from the top.
Well, kind of. Not really.
Snow blocks it from hitting the solar. Do you know physics?
Do you know to shut your mouth?
Yeah. How are you doing, tech?
Well, I'm both very good and awful. I want to apologize for anybody who's listening out there, both live, because we have a live show, link in the description, and on the recorded version. So a few weeks ago, I complained about biting my tongue, and not being able to talk right. I have another tongue problem,
and I'm gonna reenact that right now. My tongue hurt. Okay.
If you could live this, you would understand. I think I bit my tongue in the middle of the night or something, because I snore and I talk in my sleep, and I bit under my tongue really bad.
How do you bite under your tongue?
I don't know.
He's special.
But I now have a blister under my tongue, so I can't talk right.
Correctly. You can't English correctly either. But,
it is very painful. So for me to be on the show at all is a feat for me, and I wish you could understand, but at the same time it hurts so bad, but I don't. But I also last Sunday, right after we recorded the show, I went to go see a bunch of local bands and the Coffin Cats. For those of you who may have heard of them, may have not. They're like a sort of rockabilly band in this small dive bar. Like, it was so small that we passed it, and it was right next to like an Ace Hardware, and we're like, is that where the show is? And we look back, it's like, oh yeah, there's a sign for that bar. That looks kind of sketchy. I feel right at home in this because like the first bar that I ever went to was like in the middle of Shenandoah County, Virginia, and there was a band playing. It's like I feel comfortable with those people, and it was a crazy like. It felt like it was somebody's basement. Like I was like feet away from the band, and it made a lot of friends of mine jealous because they really wanted to see Coffin Cats. And I think they're from. There was a joke that a friend of mine made. He came with me. We have some friends of ours who live in New Jersey, and the Coffin Cats are from New Jersey. And there was like a Facebook conversation going on, and the friends from New Jersey were like, "Make them come to New Jersey." And then my friend Cole was like, well, gosh, like they're already from New Jersey. I wouldn't be quick to come back there either. Jeez.
Because it's New Jersey. Who the fuck wants to go there?
Sorry for the people in New Jersey. Move.
No,
goodbye, listeners.
They want to get out of there, too.
But yeah, like I've either been in a lot of pain this week or reminiscing on some of the awesome local bands that I heard. I might actually be doing some music videos for two of the bands that I talked to. One of them is recording their debut album, and the other one is currently in the studio recording their third album. So I might be busy with that. Also, next weekend, oh crap. I'll talk about this in the next segment with you guys in the Metacast that might go up. But I'm also doing 72 Fest, Frederick 72-Hour Film Fest next weekend.
Cool.
So I'm the editor of my group / basically in charge of everything except for the director, who's really hard to work with. So
does he want like only blue M&Ms or? Yeah,
basically. Okay. If anybody's interested, I'll talk about that between the segments. But yeah, so I'm going to be very tired the next 2 weekends because I'm going to be doing that. But enough about me. Let's talk about the father.
The father?
The most soon father job. Most recent, that's the word I'm looking for.
I'm like, I thought you were talking about the show, like father of the show.
No.
Like,
well, also the father of the show.
Yeah, well, I've just been, yeah, I've already got white hair in my beard. It's a little ridiculous. But yeah, no, I've been working on the IndieGoGo. That's really kind of consuming my during the week thing. It's a little ridiculous. I was telling Rev about this. Like as soon as I launched the IndieGoGo, I just started getting inundated with spam from people and companies. Like, I see you launched an IndieGoGo campaign. I bet we could help you. So give us $5, give us $10, give us $25, and we can give you some funders. The majority of them looking very sketchy. Some of them looked okay. But still, I have a hard time like thinking about how it's worth it. Like we have a lot of Facebook followers and Twitter followers that we can send it out to for $25. I'm like, okay, well, how many of those people actually give a damn about indie games? You know. So, but it's a little ridiculous. I mean, the campaign's only been up since Monday, and I've gotten probably well over 20. And this is through the comments on IndieGoGo, their private comments. Facebook, I've gotten them on Twitter. I've gotten them in my personal email. Where else? I got them somewhere else too. It was ridiculous. There's somewhere else I got them too. Is just stop. If I want help, I will look for help. I'm not stupid. I don't need you like shoving your ass in my face and just saying, "Here, look, my ass will help you." I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a very awkward analogy.
That was the perfect analogy because they're assholes.
What's really weird is that I've gotten those emails too.
You've gotten them?
I've gotten like one or two.
Well, if you tweet about them and stuff like that too, I think people just like latch on like, this guy's involved.
It was from like, it wasn't from IndieGoGo, but it was because of the IndieGoGo because, you know, we're affiliated with it. And it's like, well, Rev and I are at least. And it's like, it was kind of weird, like, oh, this looks a little bit shady, and you don't look, I mean, like, it looked professional, but it's like,
let me give you my credit card info.
Yeah, exactly.
Take all my money.
Let's give you some information so I can contact my bank's fraud department.
But yeah, that's pretty much just been taking up my whole time this week. And again, IndieGoGo, go contribute if you can. Thanks, Pat.
There's definitely going to be a link in the description for those of you listening live, because we do have a live show. I did have a link, but I don't anymore.
Hey,
check for that in the chat.
Do we have a live show? I'm just curious because we've mentioned it like 63 times in the last.
Have you counted 63?
I've got a clicker here.
Okay.
We're pretty awesome people behind the scenes. Make sure you can check us out behind the scenes of the live show.
What he said.
But as much of a riot as we are starting in the comments of the live show. Oh crap! No, never mind.
Indie News Injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an Indie News Injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
First up this week on the Indie News Injection, we have IndieCade. You might have heard about it, you might not have, and if you haven't, that's why we're doing this, and if you have, well, guess what? It happens in 2 weeks. So, what is IndieCade? It is the largest indie game convention that happens in the real world space. We had the honor and privilege of participating with Indie 3, which was fantastic back in June. We tens of thousands of viewers. It was all digital broadcast. This one is like pretty much any other convention except geared entirely to it. I will say this, it runs a tad expensive. Like you can still purchase early bird passes, and if you get the all access pass and you buy it before you arrive on site, it's only something like $500. On site it ends up being like $6 something, I think. So it is in Southern California,
like everything
just outside,
else.
Yeah, well, that's because we have good weather and no snow and lots of people.
Says earthquake capital of the world.
I haven't felt one since I lived here. But given how much I drink,
yeah.
That's not saying much. Yeah. So October 9th through the 12th, it is open. And there are over 150 games that are already scheduled to be submitted or to be presented. They're going to be doing a game jam. There's going to be awards. There is so much stuff going on, including lots of beer. And that's part I'm kind of excited. But the reason I'm super excited, if you get the chance to make it to IndieCade 2014, you will also have the chance to kind of bump into our West Coast representative of Indie Game Riot. I'm just waiting for my final confirmation registration numbers to go and spend an entire weekend with a camera and a camcorder and all that fun stuff.
And stalk indie devs and...
Hell yeah. So be like, hey, can I follow you into the... No, I'm kidding. Never mind. But yeah, tons of panels from a lot of people, some of whom we know. If you remember from Indie 3, do you remember Elizabeth?
Yeah.
She is doing a panel at IndieCade. Unfortunately, she can't travel to be there in person, so she's doing a digital broadcast for it. Her kids are not yet young enough for her to abandon them for a weekend.
Abandon. Feed yourselves.
Just
put out some dog bowls and open cans of food.
So, go ahead.
Well, there is a game that we did talk about that is being featured, Hack and Slash.
Oh, yeah.
Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah. No, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. You've got Hack and Slash.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Like, when Rev says that there's a lot of games, check out the link in the description. There's a lot of games. There's games like Curtain, Daphne Needs to Poop, Light Fight, which looks kind of cool, Million Onion Hotel. Like, there are a lot of, like, crazy games.
There are a lot of weird ones. I remember, like, I recognize one. What was it? Aquatic something with dolphins. Where is it?
I saw it. It was
a Classroom Aquatic. I saw that on YouTube. That's a weird game.
Yeah. You also might get a chance to see and try out Sabertron stuff, which is a more of a physical game.
I was gonna say they do board games too.
Yeah. And I am all, like, if you guys have stuck around for the show, I am a huge proponent of board games. I would love to there's actually a dev that I kickstarted like years ago, and finally the game is it was like a year and a half ago, but finally the game is in the mail. I'd love to get an interview with him, maybe just sort of branch out, but
I've thought about talking about metacasting. I've thought about if once we get this show stabilized and like where we're doing good, maybe even starting like once we have our website set up, like having a board game thing. Yeah, IndieGoGo. Jazzpunk is there. That's a really good game, by the way.
Yeah,
I want to shout out like the really good games because they're freaking awesome. Never Alone. We haven't talked about that yet.
Risk of Rain we talked about.
Yeah, Risk of Rain. Now it's interesting though that because a lot of these games are actually not that new. They're over a year old. Like Risk of Rain, that's like 3 years old or something, but it's still being presented at IndieCade. Why is that? I guess it doesn't really matter if they pay.
In large part, it's because IndieCade kind of has a backlog. Like we've mentioned that we have a backlog of games to talk about.
Right.
IndieCade has had a backlog since year one.
Huh.
It's part of it is they don't just do. Like you said, it's not just video games. Like I'm looking at one that I'm really interested in just based on the title called Punch the Custard. And it's a couple of guys like they're standing at a table and they're punching a bowl that is on a sensor that is hooked up to a laptop.
Now well, let me ask you this, like it's an opinion question. I don't know for sure because I obviously have not played all of these games, but just judging based off the screenshots and the titles and all that sort of stuff, a lot of these games, like that Dolphin game, as silly as it is, I don't feel quite meet the expectations of like something like Risk of Rain. And do you think that they should be curating, like talking about a backlog, do you think that they should be curating more of this or just letting first come, first serve as long as they pay?
So here, my opinion is it's indie games, right? And we never know when Goat Simulator is going to become popular.
That is a good point. Yeah.
And do we really, in the indie game community, do we really want to start accepting responsibility and saying, you know what? No, your game's too shitty for us to feature. I mean
that is another good point too. But it's not so much. It's not so much the shitty thing. It's more like the effort put into it. You know what I mean? Like I know Flappy Bird was popular, but Flappy Bird is a shitty game, and even the devs said, no, it's a shitty game.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that I don't know. You can't make that as an objective statement. And I mean, let's use Goat Simulator or Surgeon Simulator.
Yeah, Goat Simulator. Well, Surgeon Simulator is good. Goat Simulator is a shitty game, but you're right. You're right about that because you don't know if it's going to become popular. You're right.
Right. Yeah.
So, also pointing out, they have a game called Sext Adventure.
I was actually
so there's that.
About that. I had the page up. I was like, "What's this? This looks ridiculous."
So if you'd like to play Sext Adventure with the sultry voices of the Indie Game Riot, get yourself a good time.
Texting. There's no voices.
Exactly.
Do you even phone?
You know how much?
I don't even own a phone, dude.
None. It would be no work for us.
Yeah. Sext Adventure. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
baby.
If you want to try out.
I'm sexting with Justin Bieber. What?
If you want to try out a lot of different indie games and meet with a lot of devs and watch a lot of awesome panels, check out IndieCade if you can afford it. It's worth it. And we might actually be there. You might be able to meet one of the hosts of Indie Game Riot. What?
Yeah. Meet Rev, and he's got business cards, and you can like hand them out to your friends and get them.
Those business cards are exclusive to IndieCade.
Well, not necessarily.
Our first batch ever.
Yeah, first batch.
Yeah, exactly.
Version 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
So, segue.
That was a horrible segue. Moving on.
Well, we talk a lot about devs that we like.
Yep.
And then when a dev that we like does something that pisses people off, sometimes we either have to come to their defense or come to the defense of the people who are saying, what the fuck?
Or argue.
Or exactly. Double Fine has recently come out about their game called SpaceBase, and how they are going to be releasing the game fully without features that they have been talking about in the development. Now, SpaceBase was a game that was it was on Steam Early Access, and a lot of people played it, a lot of people like it, but they are going to be releasing it soon without a lot of the features that they may have been talking up or may have been talking about adding to the final game, and those features will not be added. And they cite, not making enough money off of it to be able to justify adding those features, and basically being, basically releasing the game that they have rather than the game that probably a lot of people who backed this early want. And there's obviously two sides about this. One, if the money isn't there, there's obviously no reason to go forward with it.
Well, if the money's not there, you can't bankrupt your company. So,
and as
it's weird though, because you think that the amount of people that donated, to this to get it funded, would buy the I guess they get the game probably through that, but it's usually reflective of the amount of people that would be interested, outside of that too. So it's like, where did it go wrong exactly?
They talk about how sales have dropped relatively dramatically in the last few months, and that, excuse me, they plan on releasing the game with bug fixes and everything. So the released game will be a full game for the people who definitely bought it, and you will still be able to buy the game as is full on Steam. But they aren't able to keep making the game with the level of development that they've been doing because the sales have dropped off.
Now,
and
do you think that because they released in early access, that's how they're getting this information? It's not selling enough in early access. Do you think that if they had waited and they had actually finished it and waited, that it would have taken a different, maybe people would be more interested in buying it then?
There are a lot of... I'm sorry to cut you off, Rev.
No, go for it.
There are a lot of factors that come into it, and as much as I take this, whether it be good or bad, Double Fine, we've talked about them a lot, has a lot of clout. When Double Fine says, hey, we're going to be doing this, there are a lot of people who are like, we like Double Fine, we like what they've done so far, I'm going to throw money at this no matter what. And so, it's sort of a double-edged sword, because then you get a lot of funding up front, because as soon as they do something, everyone hops on, and then it gets popular, and a few more people, learn about it. And then the game is there, the hype is gone, and then they finally release this game to sell.
So it seems like... did they even do enough for PR then? Because you're right, it was and then no one talked about it for a long time.
Does Double Fine really need to do, pay for PR, though?
Well, you don't have to pay for PR, especially not on the internet.
Yeah.
Look at us.
There's also a point that I wanted to get to about this. That in regards to people being very angry that, this game doesn't have all the features that you talked about. And not to try and step into the AAA scene, but there's another game that's, I think it's still currently in beta. Destiny beta?
It's not, no, it's not in beta. It should be, but it's not.
Exactly, it should be. And so you look at the difference between indie games and AAA games, and there are a lot of parallels, and there are a lot of things that you can learn from both scenes. And Destiny has been received relatively poorly, considering the budget that it has, and they've already made the money up, and yet they're still creating a subpar, relatively speaking, depending on your opinion.
Or that's going into the whole DLC thing. That's the only reason I think it's subpar.
Well, exactly.
And Double Fine's not doing DLC.
But no, a lot of people agree that considering Destiny's PR and what they've advertised, they are releasing the game with that does not meet what they have.
Well, there's
the game.
There's literally cutscenes and things like that. There's literally cutscenes that were in the beta and alpha that are not in the full game.
And then you think about this early access game that has talked about features that may be added, like these AAA games that talk about features that may be added, and then in the final game they aren't there. But you get people on the AAA scene who are saying, "Oh, well, that's okay. I still love this game. Bungie made this game." But as soon as it's an early access game or an indie game, like, "Oh, you don't have these features. I'm so angry that you don't have these features. I don't want to play this. This is bullshit. Like, what are you doing?" And
here's where I think our analogy and comparison falls apart. Humans as groups are dumb as fucking bricks. And nobody, like, there are very few people who have the fortitude, the moral fiber, as it were, to stand behind their convictions when it comes to something like that. So everybody that is out there that is bitching about, this problem with Double Fine, the SpaceBase, as soon as Double Fine says, "Hey, we're making a new game that has all of these features and blah blah blah," those same jackholes are going to go out there and they're going to buy it, and they're not even going to question it.
Yeah,
Bungie's the same thing.
True.
Like,
you're
EA's EA audience is notorious for that.
Exactly, and we see this time and time and time and time again. If it's a recognizable name, whether it be in the intellectual property aspect of it, whether it be the developer, whether it be somebody who is involved in the development, like I will buy. Right now, I will buy Destiny regardless of what problems it has, because I'm a fan of Bungie. I would buy SpaceBase if I still could. I would buy SpaceBase as is right now because I'm a fan of Double Fine. I don't care. I want to support them.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone died, but
I apologize about that. I tripped and ripped my headset out.
Okay. I was really confused. I was like, I was going to say something. I was going to say something, and everyone was like, But anyway, just want to point out before we end this topic, at least it wasn't Broken Age, because that was the one that earned millions in backing on Kickstarter. So, although arguably Broken Age also didn't live up to its expectations either, so I don't know. Risk to early access and things like that, of course there's always a freaking risk. It's an investment a lot of times, but that shouldn't scare you away, because people that are investing in that sort of thing should understand the risk ahead of time. Just saying. Yeah. Now, you know what is not a risk because it's fully released already? So speedrunners, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Speedrunners is fully out, so you don't have to worry about any kind of early access woes with that. The piece of news I have for speedrunners, the devs, by the way, are Tiny Build. That's what they're called. They've been sending out... What?
Go ahead. I was going to say, I just realized as you're talking that speedrunners is a game and not, a group of people that do speed runs.
Really?
It
didn't connect in my head.
The Indie Game Riot Podcast. We do our research.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, in their defense, I didn't have a link for this because I actually got an email from the devs of Tiny Build, and they have been sending free Steam keys to YouTubers and reviewers and things like that on YouTube. So that way, first of all, they can play their game, and second of all, so they can promote it. They're doing it basically an affiliate program. So if you're a YouTuber out there, maybe you might be able to contact them and be like, "Hey, I'm a YouTuber. Do you mind if I get that key?" They might send you a key.
Have keys to this too?
I have a key to this. They only send one.
More, you jackass.
They only sent one, but we can contact them and ask for two more. We'll see. I wouldn't see why not, since that's the whole point of it. Yeah. And so basically, they have affiliate links now, which I'm thinking about setting up. And first of all, because you should support speedrunners, it's a ridiculously fun game for multiplayer. If you have 2 to 4 friends, then you can play. It's a 2 to 4 co-op. You can play. It's basically you're racing, and it's really fun because you basically get to screw your friends over during the race. Things like you can shoot if someone's ahead of you, you can shoot a grapple hook and grab them back. And the whole point of it is to stay ahead of everyone and try and get the people behind you to fall off the screen. because the camera moves with the person who's in first. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No, yeah.
Okay.
If you've seen gameplay footage of this, and it's out there, it makes a lot of sense.
So what is it about this affiliate program that drew you to the idea that we should present this tonight?
Well, it's the fact that, first of all, it's the only time I've ever heard of this happening with any kind of game. Maybe it's happened before, but this is the first time I've ever heard of it. Second of all, because they sent it to me, and I was like, whoa, I was like, it was weird because I was literally, like, the past few days I've been seeing gameplay of it, and I was like, man, that looks so freaking fun. I wish I had the money to buy speedrunners, and then, like, one day it was like, here's a key to speedrunners, and I'm like, what? Thank you?
Are they reading my mind?
Yeah, it was really weird.
Does Tiny Build have some weird mind reading stuff?
It was really weird. But I've never heard of an affiliate program for just a game. My question is, do you guys think that this is a really good tactic, or do you think it's something that might hurt in the end?
I will say that, from my experience with this, it is a good tactic. Because if you get YouTubers playing your game...
Well, it's not just... Well, I mean, that's one thing, is sending out the keys. Because, I mean, people do that already. But I'm talking about the affiliate link. Because people...
Well, like, cutting people in on the deal... because that's a really big thing. Like, I play a lot of PlanetSide 2. And it's broken right now, but there's an affiliate program for that. There are affiliate programs for a lot of other games. But, like, this one's very much so... directly involved with the developer, and I think that if you can create a relationship between Let's Player and developer, or even personality or website or whatever you are, and developer, that's a much better way of supporting a game than just being like, hey, I'm a really popular YouTuber, look at me mess up, haha, buy this game, and then the game boosts, it goes crazy. Right. This way, you're interacting with the developer and you're building that relationship. And like, even if the developer is making less money on a game,
well, because that's something I was going to bring up. Because first of all, the affiliate link will actually take 10% off of your purchase if you go through the affiliate link, and it's not that much because I mean, I think the game's like $10, so it'll take it down to $9. But then, talking about the money that they get. We get, if we use an affiliate link, we'll get 30%. So that we'll actually get like, a few dollars out of that if someone purchases it through our link. So you're leaving them with, with like $6, $5-6, right?
So here's my problem here. I think this is a great experiment. I really do. My problem with it, my fear for it, comes from the complication of all of that. And how do I phrase this so I don't sound curmudgeonly? I use the word curmudgeonly, so I guess that goes out the window. No, it seems to be a relatively complicated process to do so. And granted, I understand we're dealing with actual money here, so it kind of needs to be to prevent fraud.
Right.
But at the same time, you want to make it as absolutely simple as possible. And they've done a okay job of it. It's only like 10 steps, not counting the registration steps for the various other things that you have to use.
I think what makes it a little bit more convoluted is that they're going through a third party for the affiliate link. What are they using? Cashbank? Is that what it's called?
ClickBank.
ClickBank. They're using ClickBank, which is a sales processor. It's a third party, though. And a lot of times when people are using affiliate links, they're using something that's more directly involved with them, themselves, or whatever their sales process is. And I think they're using ClickBank because they're a small dev and they can't really afford that kind of functionality, I guess. But so I think you're right. The experiment, it's more of an experiment at this point, and that later on, maybe if this catches on, that they'll start, game devs will start thinking ahead of time, like, okay, we need this functionality to streamline the process, and get the So that way people don't have to go through this ClickBank and all this different stuff to use your affiliate links, and then people buying it through weird things, all that sort of stuff. So,
well, but this is already being used, like not necessarily the multiple steps like we're talking about, but like Amazon affiliate links.
But they do it through their own.
Well, yes, that's true. But like
game developer, go ahead.
Yes. Well, like, but the idea of being like, hey, switch your bookmark for when you buy Amazon things to this link, and we'll get so many % of that because that's what works. So, like we're an affiliate with Amazon, or we're an affiliate with another site that does that, and like that's a relatively tried and true method of people.
Loot Crate does it. Audible. I think
exactly. So yes, it's a little bit sketchy that they're going through a third party, but like we've spent the time looking through that third party. That third party has
it's reputable.
Yeah, it is relatively reputable. Like obviously we haven't experienced them personally, but looking online, like usually if you search a company and the first 2 links that come up are like this company name scam. And like I've dealt with companies like that. I have had fraudulent charges on accounts from companies like that. Like that's when red flags start popping up. But it looks like they're trying their best to go through a company that is reputable without having to drop the extra money on hosting and a lot of the extra stuff that goes with that. So
right.
I will say this: the developer that implements this process in a absolutely streamlined, smooth, and easy to do moment will be a legend for all time.
And they'll sell a shit ton of games.
Yeah.
You know what else sells a shit ton of games?
What's that?
Damn it, you walked right over my segue.
Payback for last week, bitch. Starting the Riot. This week on Starting the Riot, we have a 4X turn-based fantasy strategy game. By
Tech.
I know we all know that Tech hates the turn-based games. This one is called Endless Legend, and first of all, first glance, it looks a lot like Civilization. Which I thought you liked Civilization, Tech.
No,
really?
I mean, like I don't hate it. I just don't like turn-based.
Well, what a bitch. Anyway, yeah, turn-based, and it looks a lot like Civilization. So, first of all, Civilization fans, you might want to check this out. It's got a ton of positive reviews. I love turn-based, and I love strategy games. I learned like chess at the age of 4, and since then, I just love strategy. I love thinking ahead and just planning things out, all that sort of stuff. And this is really cool because it's taking place in a fantasy realm. You control every aspect of your civilization, and you're trying to save, basically, your whole thing, I guess the story, quote, behind it, is to save your homeworld called Auriga? Is that how you pronounce it, you think?
Yeah.
Auriga? That's one thing about fantasy. It's one thing about fantasy is just like, you just made that shit up by making it sound. I don't know what you're talking about, but
maybe it's like Auriga or something like similar. I don't
know. But anyway, the developer is Amplitude Studios, and they've actually, by now, it was released on September 18th. By now, it's actually on 1.0.2, so I guess they patched it. IGN gives an 8.3 out of 10. Hooked Gamers.
Yeah.
You
don't
9 out of 10.
What other people say about it? What do we
Metacritic,
say?
80 out of 100. I say I'm really excited for this game. I want to play it a lot. Tech, what do you think?
I think that it looks really cool, and like, okay, I'm a relatively picky gamer. I like showing my support with my wallet, and I know what I like and I know what I dislike, but
what if this is the game that like changes your mind, like just
see,
flips
that's what I'm saying. This game is different from Civilization in my eyes, because like Civilization, I'm bored of it. Like, so much time, but like all of a sudden you have this, you scroll out and you have this whole world where you're turn-based, worrying about, and then you have individual battles that you're worrying about, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm looking like, this kind of looks like HeroClix. I love HeroClix. damn, I really don't want to be.
I was gonna say, like
about not liking turn-based games.
Not saying that Civilization isn't deep, because it's incredibly deep, but I think this is, maybe deep's the wrong word, but it goes into a lot more
depth. Well,
thesaurus, let's get that out.
Like that's kind of what it is. Like you scroll far enough and
you're managing a lot more in this game. You have a lot more control over what happens.
And all of a sudden the battles that these enemies plus those enemies fight actually matter. Because and that's a problem that I had with Risk too. Like Risk, super popular board game, sold to copies, online versions galore. Like all of a sudden,
but the mechanics aren't granular.
Exactly, like it's a numbers game and you're rolling dice.
But you play D&D, that's what that is.
Well, right, but that is interacting with individual people. If I'm playing against a computer, I want something more engaging, and this looks like it's actually going to give me more of an engaging experience.
Right, and so basically, think like Civilization mixed with. I'm trying to think of a good RPG to put it in there. Not Dragon Age. Because there's
Dragon Age.
I mean, there's inventory management and things like that where you can upgrade your equipment for each of your troops and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot more things to control in this game rather than just a little bit of city management and strategy as far as placement goes and resource management.
My other big thing is that, and this is just me, and for those of you who agree with me on certain things, there's a lot of micromanagement. And there's a part of me that really likes micromanagement, and then there's a part of me that absolutely detests.
I really like micromanagement, and you pointed out too, but we didn't really hit on it. Is the fact that it's not just I keep bringing back comparisons to Civilization, but Civilization is, you're just looking at your world map, where you're you know what I'm saying, but this you can actually scroll in and out. You're going. Not only are you managing that aspect, but you're managing things on a larger scale. You scroll out, you go, to a more of a world look rather than just the single map, all that sort of stuff. So, Rev hasn't really given a lot of opinion on this. I just realized
I kind of haven't, because I'm actually I've been digging further into them, and I will say this: the price tag seems a bit hefty for an early access game. It is
it's
35.
Not early access.
Well, okay, it's the new curated.
What did we?
It has.
It's not early access. This is 1.0.2. It was released September 18th.
They still listed. They still listed as such on their website. I wasn't looking at Steam.
All right, yeah, it's not early access, so it's $35 for just the regular thing
for the full release game.
Right.
But so these guys, I recognize the name of Amplitude Studios, and I wanted to do some more digging into them. And do you remember the game that came out last year, won several awards, called Endless Space?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which was also a 4X turn-based strategy game, but for sci-fi. And having watched several LPs of this and came very, very close to shelling out money for it myself, I will honestly say if they maintain that same basic idea, those same basic concepts as they did for Endless Space, I will have no problem whatsoever with Endless Legends, despite not knowing all that much about it. I don't understand. I'm trying to feed off of your guys' information, and you're saying it has a much deeper or deep-like system to it. And for me, I'm not necessarily seeing that, but I know how deep or deep-like Endless Space was, and if they're as a tenth as deep like as that was, I'm sold.
Well, I mean, it's the same exact developers and everything like that. So you got to imagine that it is. I personally enjoy the fantasy genre over the sci-fi genre a lot more, and I got to say it looks fantastic. Like graphics wise, it's very aesthetically pleasing.
I think that my biggest complaint, and if anybody from the dev team is listening, This is like the biggest problem that I have is that you either can look at screenshots of the game, which are screenshots of the game, or you can watch the videos on the Steam page, which are just like trailers with no real, like, I guess you get a little bit of the actual gameplay footage. But like, I actually had to do some digging. Like, I had to spend some time to be like, so what exactly are they going for here? And then, you know, after a while, I was like, okay, now I know what they're going for here. But it was like over a minute. Like the first video that they have on Steam doesn't even have gameplay footage, and
which is a mistake, as we've learned.
I think either video on Steam doesn't have gameplay footage at all. And like, oh no, the first video does have some gameplay footage, which honestly really intrigued me. And like, as much as people say like, oh well, watching turn-based, you know, gameplay footage is boring, we want to show this awesome art that we've made, which is also very awesome. But like, it doesn't show me a lot about the game, and what I saw about the game looks pretty cool. But is it $35 cool? I don't know.
If it's that deep, and if it's that high of a replayable, you know, game, if it's that much of a replayable game, then why isn't it? I mean, just to note, this is the most expensive game we've ever featured on Starting the Riot.
Yeah.
But because I think that before this it was like maybe $20 was the most expensive. But if it's that deep in that, and you can play it, you know, hours and hours and hours, then why not? Why not charge $35 as long as it's a good game? So
that's true. Well, they also offer before we skip out, they also offer a founder pack for $45, or you can upgrade to the classic 2 founder pack upgrade for like $10, which just evens out.
Right. It's just an extra $10 for the founder pack, or $11
exactly. And the difference you get for the founder pack, you get in-game minor faction, which are the Ice Wargs. You get the in-game Darkened Hero, whatever the hell, in-game unique faction trait, hero for Dungeon and the Endless, 50% Steam coupon for Endless Space.
And Sorsha in the live chat makes a good point by saying it's certainly not $60 like AAA games, which is, of course, correct. No matter what you say, it is still cheaper than
for a
Assassin's Creed 3. So
for a half-priced Civilization with more depth, I can't complain.
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
And like I said, if this game is as 10th as good as Endless Space is, and Endless Space was about the same price point, I would have no problem with Endless Space. I'm going to have no problem with this one.
I think it's going to be fantastic.
It does only run on Windows. Oh wait, nope, I lied. And Mac.
It does look like it's going to be pretty fantastic. But you know what else is fantastic?
What's that, Josh?
Heroin.
No, don't do drugs. Phantasmal, which is coming up next on the Peep Show.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
Do you know what's around the corner? The answer to that is no if you're playing Phantasmal, a roguelike survival horror game. You may have heard this before. Oh, a roguelike survival game. Oh, yeah, it's going to be top-down, or it's going to be third person. This is a first-person horror game that is not only a procedurally generated game with very in-depth level generation, but holy crap, is this thing terrifying. You can kickstart it right now. You can back it on Kickstarter, link in the description. But this is, as I said, is a procedurally generated horror game. And one thing that I haven't seen a 3D horror game that was procedurally generated that was this scary, if not any.
Well, not to mention that looks this nice either.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and to be fair, like, I started up, like, I watched all the footage. I'm like, wow, this game looks pretty good. And they're saying it's pre-alpha. That's not too bad. And on top of that, they're asking like what, 15 New Zealand dollars or whatever.
So it's like $6 US.
Yeah, it's like nothing. And it's like, oh, it looks pretty good. And I load it up and I'm like, and it's like, and there's a Unity launcher. And I'm like, oh, this game looks great for Unity. They're doing a first-person game in Unity that like controls really well.
People give Unity shit all the time, and it's just because that half the people, or actually more than half the people that use Unity, don't know how to use it properly.
It's true, and the people who are using Unity in this case know what they're doing, because damn, is this game not only controls really well, but they've done so much for the atmosphere that, although it's kind of hard to see things, and yes, there's a lot of intentional RGB tearing, but it definitely works. Like, this is in all aspects a roguelike, if there ever was one, because you are thrown into a world, and that's where you start. You can look around, you might find a gun, you might find a broom to use as a weapon, and if you want, you can just explore and find your way through. There are notes around if you care to find them. If you care to, interact with any of the story in this game, you can. You can learn about some of the creatures that you might be facing, and then all of a sudden, it just throws you in. And it doesn't tell you that. I'm going to give you a hint. When you first spawn, I think, you spawn in a... you spawn in a very closed-off area, and I'm like, oh shit, I've spawned. Okay, where do I go? And I was crawling around everywhere and throwing flares at places. And
so it's one of those games that definitely does not hold your hand.
Well, it kind of does. And then I was like, oh, well, here's the... I thought everything was like a circle. I was like, did I generate this wrong? Is something wrong? And then I found the portal room, and I stepped in. And then all of a sudden, I was in a room, and spiders were attacking me. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is the first room. I can't even get out of this room. I've already lost half of my health. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And it very quickly goes from... I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, wait, I think I know what I'm doing. To very much so, I really don't know what I'm doing. What the hell is that? Oh, my God.
I want to point out, too, that this game gives you a way to defend yourself. I don't know how efficient it is to do it, but it does give you a gun. And I kind of like that fact now, because so many games now, especially talking about indie games, have been moving away from that. And just because of the whole amnesia thing, and it's been kind of becoming a what do you call it? A trope in horror games now. Like, oh, you're so helpless because you don't have a weapon. I like the fact that it's giving you some way to defend yourself. It's just that you have to use it within reason. You know what I mean? Like, maybe limit ammunition a lot, or just so you can use it when it's absolutely necessary. Kind of make it more realistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Make it more so that it's not a option of first resort, but an option of, can I really spare my resources? Do I want to take that risk?
Right. Just point out that Tech, I think, is dead.
Tech.
On Skype. So, but we will move on, because this is not Saving Private Ryan. And first of all, some of the things that you get for this is all in New Zealand dollars. So they have the conversion, I guess. So like 15 New Zealand dollars equals 13 US dollars. But basically for the 15 New Zealand dollars, 13 US dollars, you will get a digital copy of the game, which is I think a good deal. Wait a minute, I'm a little confused actually. Oh, that was actually an early bird special. It says, I believe, even though it's pretty late into the into the thing, because they have 12 at the time of this recording, 12 days to go. When this comes out, it would be like 9 days. You can become a beta tester for $50, New Zealand dollars, 40 US. Did you see any of the other ones that kind of like caught your eye?
Honestly, there's a couple of things that would be kind of cool. There's the, if you donate $1,700.
Hobbit dollars, inevitably.
Hobbit dollars. I like that. Hobbit bucks. No, if you donate 2,000 New Zealand dollars or sheep sleeper dollars, you can send them a creature concept, and they incorporate that, and you get listed in the credits as part of the design team.
You can put that on a resume, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, like, I don't know. I'm trying to stay excited for this, because It's another one of those horror games that I can't do.
One of these days, when I'm coming to visit you,
I'm gonna play
some with you. We're gonna get through it. I'm gonna laugh my ass off at you. There will be no coddling. No. There will be no coddling because I will be laughing. But we will get through it. And just so you know what the money's going to be going towards, what do they have? They kind of use general term. Oh, no, wait, here we go. Administration, which is website management, general administration, whatever that means. Development, which is authors, programs, animation, art, and audio. Testing for like beta testing and things like that. Promotion, so they're going to do some PR and advertising. And then distribution, which I guess means fees through the distribution platforms and everything like that. They may have to put it towards. It says also that the funding will be used to improve certain areas of the game, like the AI, the procedural level generation. Right now, it's got 3 current levels in the demo, so they're using the money to extend it past that, which is pretty important. And because that's a short game, then they're going to introduce a lot of events, bosses, things like that to make the game even deeper. Upgrade environment, melee combat system. They're going to use an XP system, which will be interesting, and of course complete the story as a whole.
So I will say a shout out to iMobi. That's the team that's making this, and I do wish them luck. I do kind of wish that they had a bit more experience in the game, but that's a me thing, and I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. It looks freaky as hell.
Having played it, I think they have a lot that they already have, and they already know where they're going with it. So
they just need the funds to get to the rest of it.
Like, in terms of early access games, this one, on principle and on mechanics, is there. It just needs some polish and then some story developed.
And welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
And just so there is I guess PewDiePie played this on his channel. So, well, whether or not you're a fan, that's good PR for
him,
this team. So, and if you're looking for gameplay, there is gameplay right there, obviously, with a guy screaming over it, whether you like it or not.
I actually want to record some of this and post it on my channel as well.
Do it, man.
I want to.
You know what is kind of scary if it were real?
What's
Talking about
that?
scary things. Flying eyeballs. But the good thing is, it's in free fun.
All right, so you'll have to forgive me. This week's free fun is a lot of fun. In fact, I'm playing it right now.
You announced it so free
fun.
fun.
Hope you guys. Sorry, I was distracted by the little sperm with eyeballs.
Did I get you excited?
Yes,
Good,
it
good.
did. This is introducing Terrance the Flying Eyeball, and they're link in the description. This is actually it's a Unity-based game. It is a lot of fun. I have been playing it pretty much the entire time we've been recording, with pauses here and there. But really simple to control. It is. Ow, damn it!
Indie Game
I went to stand up and I stepped on my headset cables as I stood up, so it just ripped.
The game is so good it'll knock your headphones off.
Exactly.
Indie Game Riot, drunk on its 21st.
I'm not intoxicated much.
Finally,
so
based on. Sorry.
Okay. Controls are really easy. It's the arrow keys. There is no combat, and it is it's just a directional dodge shit type game. It's not a shmup, but it's along those lines. And they've got some really interesting.
It's a reflex game.
Reflex timing, yes, but all you have to do is be patient, and that's one of the problems that I'm having. Is I'm into Zone B right now. There's 4 zones, and in Zone B, it's very much get your right timing and reflex, and But they've got some really cool mechanics in place. Some of the obstacles are, they'll bounce off things, or you'll touch one.
So everyone's dying again. This is a fantastic. I gotta love internet issues.
The episode is drunk because it's 21st.
Maybe we can sober up on our 22nd.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you sound like you're coming through a shitty phone. Rev's dead.
Damn.
But yeah, so let me finish up with free fun. Terrance the Flying Eyeball is made by Aiden Baines of Aiden Baines Games, and thank you. Man, say that 3 times fast.
Aiden Baines Games.
Aiden Baines Game. So thank you, Aiden Baines, for sending us your game, because it is pretty damn fun, and everyone apparently thinks your sperm ball is cute.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it's like a side puppy eye just disembodied.
Yeah. Do I sound like a robot right now?
No, you do not.
Yes,
that is good. One of the Enough Vittoria in the chat said that it is a game based on an avant-garde. Was it a Primus album? I missed it.
Les
Claypool album, and that is so true. Also, I will say, going off of what Rev was saying about the level design, is that this game feels like the dev actually tried to play the game and made it so that, oh yeah, I'm going to move here. No, you're not. You're going to die. And Rev, right? Like that's what it is.
No, it really is. Oh, I've got this perfect timing. I've got it no.
Well, the one thing, like, if you go to his Twitter, because I follow him on Twitter, and if you want to follow him on Twitter, it's at Aiden Baines Games. But he prides he prides himself as a level designer. He's a passionate level designer, competent coder, and awful animator, which is his words. But passionate level designer, that reminds me of Phil Royer, who made Super Pixel and with the level design. So his favorite thing to do is to make levels that will make you rip your dick off, right?
I raged this game.
You raged?
Well, I rage quit because I was playing it and I'm like, I beat the first level, and then I got a few stages into the second one and I'm just like, shit, I have a show. Fuck it, I'm done.
Well, you're gonna play afterwards. That's the important thing, right?
That's the thing. Like, I may have rage quit this game, but it was also because I didn't have I was like, oh, I have to do stuff later. Crap. But I was having fun, so that's what's important.
Exactly.
It's like having an argument with your significant other. You're like, fuck you, and then 5 minutes later, okay, let's have makeup sex.
Yes, Terrance the Flying Eyeball, all about makeup sex.
That's why it looks like sperm.
Makeup sex happens at the end. Guess what time it is?
The end of the show. There's a segue for you.
That's not fun.
So
we were going to go into some weird, twisted areas if we didn't get that.
Yeah, this is probably a good idea. So, Terrance the Flying Eyeball, play it, but this is the end of the show. And for those of you who are listening in our live stream, on our recorded version, we always have background music, and this week's background music is by Neon Bard. If you want to listen to it, listen to the recorded version as well. For those of you listening to the recorded version, that's who that music is that you've been hearing this whole time. It's fantastic. Go show him some love by clicking on his link in our description. And if you are a video game musician or an indie game dev or anything that has to do with indie game assets of some sort, contact us. Or if you know anyone, contact us and let us know so we can feature you on our show. Potentially.
How can they contact us?
I'll tell you as soon as I go through something else. I should probably order this better, but you know. But the first thing is, before I go into the contact information, we are currently doing an IndieGoGo campaign. It's been open for, 5 days now? Something like that? Since Monday. Yep. Today's Friday, at the time of the recording. So go to our IndieGoGo. The link, again, will be in the description. If you like this show, if you like supporting indie games and indie devs, please consider backing or contributing, because I guess backing is like a Kickstarter thing, because it's on IndieGoGo, contributing to our IndieGoGo campaign. We're looking for funds to improve our the show in general. First of all, a website that's actually functional, and we're going to eventually, it's going to basically lay down a foundation for some of the bigger plans we have in the future, and we're going to use the website as a hub for not only fans of the show, but also indie game devs and gamers, and everyone that has to do with indie games that loves the community to meet and talk and network and all that sort of stuff. And some other things as well we'll get into at some other point probably. But please, go to the IndieGoGo link, and please consider supporting us that way. Now, if you have any questions, or if you are one of those people that would like to be featured on the show, you can contact us through any of these following links. We are also on youtube.com/JaShinYa Gaming. That's where we host the recorded versions of our show for those of you in the live stream. If you want to listen live sometime, it is on hitbox.tv/JaShinYa. You can contact us on Twitter at JaShinYa, at IGR Podcast. JaShinYa is my personal one right there. And we have a Reddit, which is reddit.com/r/Indie Game Riot. Our Facebook is facebook.com/IGR Podcast. Our shitty website for the time being is igrpodcast.webs.com.
Subject change.
Hopefully.
It will be.
And our email for the time being is JaShinYaGaming@gmail.com, which you can send anything to us there. Questions, comments, concerns, hate mail, love mail, game keys, shit, digital shit. I don't know.
Hate mail. So I will say this: we've made a couple outside of segments. We've made a couple of jokes about brought to you by Domino's. No, this episode is brought to you by love of the people that have contributed already. So
seriously, oh my god, some of the generosity of every single person. No matter how much you donate,
even if it's just $1,
it shows in a very real way that you care. Even if it's not even $1, even if you're just sharing this link on Facebook,
right?
Holy crap! Even as I was saying, I think it was before the show, and I kind of want to bring this up. When a lot of people look at crowdfunding campaigns, they look at the amount of money that they need to make, and they look at the difference between that and what they've made already, and they look at that gap, and they're like, wow, that's a big gap. But they don't actually look at the number of people, and they don't look at the fact that those are actual people. Those are actual dollars, and every single cent of that really matters, especially for a production that is as small as us. And looking at that and thinking wow, that's a lot more than I would be able to give to this. I'm really glad that people actually care as much as we do about the show, and all they are listening to it, or all they are watching it on YouTube, or interacting with us on the live show. And it's just it's
an inspiration. It really is. It's
amazing to go out and then look back and be like, wow, we have another funder. We again, anonymous funders, we don't see you, but it's great to see the people who have been engaging us, and all the stuff on Facebook and all the stuff on the IndieGoGo, and it's we definitely appreciate it. We're not asking for oh yeah, no, we need a lot of this and everyone's just a number. Every single person. We basically reached out to every single person who's donated, and it's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Any last words other than that before we say goodbye?
I'm gonna go shoot a bugbear.
I hope my tongue heals by the next episode.
I hope the internet gets sober by the next time we do an episode. But we got through it, and this is a really good episode, I think. I really enjoyed talking to you guys, as always. So thank you, Rev and Tech, and thank you, everyone, for listening in the live stream, and thank you, everyone, for listening to the recorded version. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
I'll see you next time.
Have a good one, folks.
Toodles. I was worried. I'm going to be honest. I was a little worried when I posted your IndieGoGo video.
That's cool off.
That people were going to be like, "Oh my god, Like,
It's psychotic, Mountain Man.
The thing is that you don't even understand because my hair was back, and it's like the longest it's ever been. Like, if I were a girl, I wouldn't have to wear a shirt live because I would just like cover my tits with my hair, and then we would get all of the views.
cover your tits with your hair.
Yeah, no, my hair is very.
You know, you can like. Oh, I know what you can do. I know what you can do. I know what you can do. You should set up a camera. Set up a camera in your bathroom and aim it at the bathtub. Fill up the bathtub the whole way. Take your shirt off and just like kind of lay in there like a mermaid, and have your hair, like your wet hair, covering your.
Oh my god.